Good morning, everyone. I'm going to make a presentation on Rwandan culture and civic education of the post-genocide period from July 1994. Rwanda of July 1994 was a torn-up country. There was no nation. Rwandan people were deeply affected. There were only survivors, traumatized people, widows, orphans, repatriated people, refugees, in short, a vulnerable population. Let's see some data. July 1994, the RPF in Kotanyi, led by Major General Paul Kagame, stopped the genocide on a great part of the country, except one part of the western province, former Cyangugu and Kibuye, and one part of the southern province, Gikongoro. Occupation of the above-mentioned parts by French troops under turquoise operations. 4th July 1994, RPF in Kotanyi took Kigali city with a big part of the country. 19th July 1994, official installation of coalition transitional government. March 2000, resignation of the President of Republic, Pasteur Bizimungu from RPF. April 2000, election of new transitional President of the Republic from RPF in Kotanyi, Paul Kagame. May 2003, referendum on the new constitution. June 4th, 2003, publication of the new constitution, end of transitional period. August 25th, 2003, presidential democratic election by universal suffrage. Paul Kagame was elected. The period of transition, 1994 to 2003, reinforcement of national security. The post-genocide government of July 19th, 1994, the government of the Coalition, Unity and Reconciliation had the principal mission of strengthening security in the country. Vision 2020. Between 1998 to 1999, the presidents of the Republic organized at Village Rugwiro many reflection meetings on the future of the country. On the basis of the expressed ideas in these meetings, the Ministry of Economic and Finance elaborated a document entitled Vision 2020. In May 2002, two seminars were held at Kigali, regrouping experts, the political class, academics, representatives of the civil society and the private sector, churches, in order to validate the final document of Vision 2020. It is during these seminars that national priorities were organized into hierarchy pillars and transverse domains of the Vision 2020. Pillars of the Vision 2020: good governance and capable state, human resource development and knowledge-based economy, a private sector-led economy, infrastructure development, productive and market-oriented agriculture, regional and international economic integration, cross-cutting areas, gender equality, protection of environment and sustainable natural resources management, science and technology including ICT, poverty reduction strategies program, PRSP. The government has set up some poverty reduction strategies in all sectors: productive, social, and political. Agriculture, private sector, infrastructure, education, health, and Millennium Development Goals. A treaty among nations to end human poverty was set up. The Millennium Development Goals are halting poverty and hunger by 2015, achieving universal primary education by 2015, promoting gender equality in education by 2015, 5 and not later than 2015, reducing child mortality by 2015, reducing maternal mortality by 2015, halting HIV/AIDS and other diseases by 2015, ensuring environmental sustainability, developing global partnership for development, aid, trade, technology. Global partnership to achieve MDGs for poor countries, integrate goals into national-owned strategies, improve governance and accountability, put the goals at the center of political agenda, encourage local participation for rich countries, more and more effective assistance to poor countries, more debt relief, sharing technology, decentralization. The consultation on decentralization started between 1996 to 1998, but it is during the meetings organized by the presidents of the Republic at Village Rugwiro between 1998 and 1999 that decision of decentralizing the government's central power was taken. The National Commission for Unity and Reconciliation. Mission of the Commission: conceive and coordinate the national program for promoting unity and reconciliation, set up and develop ways of means for restoring and empowering unity and reconciliation among Rwandans, educate and sensitize the Rwandan population for unity and reconciliation among Rwandans, conduct research, organize debates, diffuse ideas and advertise on national peace, unity and reconciliation, formulate suggestions on better actions which can root out divisions among Rwandans and strengthen national unity and reconciliation, denounce and fight against the acts, the writings and language about any form of discrimination, intolerance and xenophobia, draw out an annual report and every time it is needed on the situation of national unity and reconciliation. The National Commission to fight against Commission for Human Rights, Gacaca jurisdictions. It is Article 152, the Constitution of 4th June 2003 puts Gacaca courts among specialized courts. Gacaca courts are responsible for the trial and judgment of cases against persons accused of the crime of genocide and crimes against humanity which were committed between October 1st, 1990 and December 31st, 1994. Categories of the accused. First category: planners, organizers, instigators, supervisors, and ringleaders of the crime of genocide or crimes against humanity. Any person who at that time was in the organs of leadership at national, prefecture, sub-prefecture, and commune levels, leaders of political parties, members of high command of army and gendarmerie, etc. Any person who committed acts of rape or sexual torture. Second category: any person whose crime acts or crime participation place him, her among the killers or authors of serious attacks causing death. The person who committed acts of torture. Any person who injured or committed other acts of serious attacks with intention to kill. Third category: any person who only committed offenses against property. It is important to mention that United Nations Security Council adopted on 8th November 1994 the resolution number 955 creating of the ICTR to judge Rwandan genocide criminals. Development period from 4th June 2003. The new Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda of 4th June 2003. The major characteristics of this constitution are: legislature. The legislative power is vested in parliament, consisting of two chambers, the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate. The executive power is vested in the President of the Republic and the Cabinet. The President of the Republic is the head of state. He is the guardian of the Constitution and guarantees national unity, the independence and territorial integrity of the country. The election of the President of the Republic is by universal suffrage through a direct and secret ballot. The Cabinet comprises the Prime Minister, ministers, and state ministers. The Prime Minister is nominated and removed by President of the Republic. Political organizations. A multi-party system is recognized. Political organizations fulfilling the conditions required to operate freely. They must abide the Constitution and other laws as well as democratic principles, and they should not destabilize the national unity, the territorial integrity, and the security of the nation. Political organizations are prohibited from basing themselves on race, ethnic group, tribe, clan, religion, sex, or any other division which may give rise to discrimination. Fundamental principles. The state of Rwanda commits itself to conform to the following fundamental principles and promote and enforce the respect of: fighting the ideology of the genocide and all its manifestations, eradication of ethnic, regional, and other divisions, and promote national unity, building a state governed by the rule of law, a pluralistic democratic government, equality of all Rwandans and between women and men, reflected by ensuring that women are granted at least 30% of posts in decision-making organs, building a state committed to promoting social welfare and establishing appropriate mechanisms for ensuring social justice. Special commissions and organs: the National Commission for Human Rights, the National Unity and Reconciliation Commissions, the National Commission for the Fight Against Genocide, the Office of the Ombudsman, the Office of the Auditor General of the State Finance, etc. The government's action plan. The main inspiring source of the government's action plan is the President of the Republic's agenda during 2003 and 2010 presidential elections campaign. This action plan equally takes into account the Vision 2020. Below are the four main domains of the government's action plan. Strengthening the good governance. Strengthening good governance. Reinforcing unity and reconciliation among Rwandans. Explaining the population, the government's policies and strategies. Discriminating and explaining the population's rights and obligations. Reinforcing mutual understanding and cooperation with regional countries and those of the world. Sensitizing the population to ensure their own security and to assist on another when facing problems. Developing partnership between the public sector and private sector and the civil society. Reinforcing justice. Fighting against injustice and corruption. Sensitizing the reputation to partake into gacaca jurisdictions. Fighting against the genocide, its ideology, and any form of discrimination. Building a state founded on the law, paying respect to the human being's fundamental liberties and rights. developing the economy, sensitizing the population at practice modern agriculture and farming, improve the seeds, fertilizers, use of modern farming techniques, etc. Stopping soil erosion, increasing refining industries for agriculture and animal products, developing tourism, encouraging national and foreign investors, developing the population's welfare, sensitizing the population on how to create jobs, assisting the private sector in self-development, reinforcing the children education program, free of charge education up to 12 years basic education, developing the higher education, building healthcare centers and hospitals, fighting against AIDS, malaria, and other disease, sensitizing the population to subscribe to sickness insurance through the Health Mutual Association or another insurance company, etc. The Office of the Ombudsman. The responsibility include the following: acting as a link between the citizen and public and private institutions, preventing and fighting against injustice, corruption, and other related offenses in public and the private administration. The National Commission for the Fight Against the Genocide, Economic Development and Poverty Reduction Strategies, EDPRS 2008-2012. Sustainable growth for the jobs and exports. These are the programs of EDPRS. And the Vision 2020 Umurenge Program, VUP, good governance, emphasizing peace and security, promoting national unity and reconciliation, human rights, the rule of law, and decentralization, and the three cross-cutting sections and programs, cross-cutting issues to achieve the PRS strategies are gender, HIV/AIDS, environment. In the macro and economic sectors, Rwanda has maintained a high economic growth rate in the face of both external and internal shocks. During the PRS, GDP growth rate has increased at an average rate of 8.5%, exceeding the anticipated requirement of 8.1%. This was achieved against the backdrop of the world economic crisis that affected fuel of food prices and as well as the financial sector. There has been impressive growth in the service and the agricultural sectors, which helped the Rwandan economy to remain resilient during the global financial crisis. In particular, food crop production contributed significantly to agricultural growth. Integrated Development Program, IDP, or Economic Revolution. This program is to be inscribed within the outstanding program of EDPRS, Economic Development and Poverty Reduction Strategies, 2008-2012, of MDG's Millennium Development Goals and of 2015, and those of Vision 2020. Increase the agricultural cattle raising production. The IGP program was conceived between August and September 2007 by the government to achieve the following objectives: to ensure food security to the population, to get out of the dependence and assistance, to obtain food extents and sell them in market, to rehabilitate culture for collection work, to promote non-agricultural jobs. Increasing the agriculture and cattle raising production, promoting cooperatives, promoting non-agricultural jobs, services, handicraft, commerce, etc. Facilitating loans granting, promoting habitat, promoting environment, responsibilities of the state's organs, and values. Then these are the values. First, speed, a country in a fast development. Second, quality of services and products according to accredited standards. Third, respect for time. Time is money. Fourth, completion. Finish what has been undertaken. Reach the objectives and results. And fifth, self-confidence. May God bless you.